Okay, so let's recite together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to the sublime, the victorious, the totally self-enlightened one. Let's go to some new information from chapter 3, the analysis of Cittas by way of Vedanā, now that we are talking about Vedanā, okay? Now, Vedanā, what is actually Vedanā? Vedanā is one Cettasika, mental feeling, and it is the vivid experience of the object. So Vedanā fully tastes the object, and it can experience it in different ways, depending on the object, as we said right now. So it can be mental pleasure, it can be mental displeasure, it can be mental neutrality. So it is the way how the mind experiences the flavor of the object. But Vedanā is only one Cettasika. It can experience the object in different ways, but it is only one Cettasika, one Vedanā. One Cettasika, okay? Now, when we studied in chapter 1 about the Dvipancha Vijnana, the five sense consciousness, if you still remember, then we have introduced two more Vedanā. One is Sukha, the pleasant mental feeling experienced through the body, right? And we have also got Dukkha, that is associated only with this painful body consciousness, right? Akusala vipaka, which is the unwholesome resultant consciousness, body consciousness, which is the unpleasant mental feeling experienced through the body. So here we have 5. We have somanasa, sukha, domanasa, dukkha, and upekkha. So 5 kinds of mental feelings here, yeah? Okay, now, sometimes Vedanā is said to be of 5 types, 3 types, 2 types, or 1 type. So how is that so? Now, when we say 5 types, that we already know these 5 types, right? Then when we see 3 types, then what is it? Let's see. When we read some suttas, sometimes we see that the Buddha mentioned there are 3 types of Vedanas, no? So according to their nature or characteristic, the feelings are said to be of 3 kinds. So in some suttas, when we see that the Buddha said there is Sukha, Dukkha, and Upekkha, then we have to understand that actually what the Buddha meant by Sukha here, in ultimate reality, includes Somanasa and Sukha. So when he said Sukha, it means the pleasant feeling, purely mental, and due to the body as well. So both are included. Yes, Edith.
So I saw many times using the words agreeable and disagreeable. So are they used for Sukha and Dukkha?
Agreeable and disagreeable in what sense?
In the suttas.
It depends on context. Yeah. Agreeable feeling.
Yeah, and disagreeable
feelings.
Yes.
I think those are somanasa and domanasa, right? Those are in suttas when they talk about agreeable, that's somanasa.
So now, actually, in the suttas, if you find the feelings to be mentioned of 3 types, usually it is Sukha, Dukkha, and Upekkha. So because whenever we see a translation, so it's always depending very much on the translator, which word he prefers, which English word he used to mean that Pali word. No, so if we have doubt, it is always better we go back to the same sutta and find the Pali version and see what word is actually being used there. Usually I do that. For example, if I see an English translation that I have some not sure about what this word is actually, what is talking about, then go to look at the Pali version.
Yeah, when you say Sukhamaya Vedanā, Dukhamaya Vedanā, and Adukhamaya, Asukhamaya Vedanā, right? Those are the mostly used, right?
Yeah, yes, Sukha, Sukha, Dukkha, and Adukkha Masukha. Yes, also neither painful nor pleasant. No, so sometimes some translator they use pleasant, sometimes use agreeable, like Edith said. So it depends. In English, it's very hard to say. But if we go back to the sutta in Pali word, then we are sure what it is talking about. Which word actually? Is that okay, Edith? Yeah, okay. Claudia?
My question is about Somanassa and Sukha is not related to each other like Domanassa and Dukkha, because if there is a pain in the body, the mind perceives it, is not the body, right? And the contour as well.
Actually, all this mental feeling, Vedana, because Vedana is a Cetasika, right? So it is a mind thing.
Exactly.
So even a body pleasant feeling is felt by the mind through the body. Let's say let's say we go to a massage, feels very good in the body. Yeah, it feels very comfortable. Okay, so that sukha feeling, that feeling is felt by the mind through the body. Because of body touch, then the mind feels pleasant through the body. Yeah, so only the mind can feel. Body body cannot feel. So for sukha and for dukkha here is the same. What same? I mean through the body, right? But all of this is the mind. All Vedana is mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So here, let's go back to where we were. So when we talk about, when we see in the suttas that there are 3 types of Vedana, then this sukha, we need to understand that it means both Somanassa and Sukha. Although it is only mentioned Sukha, but we need to understand that Somanassa is also included here in terms of ultimate reality, Abhidhamma terms. Yeah. Okay. Now, when it is said dukkha, unpleasant feeling, then we need to understand that it is purely mental plus also due to the body as well. So domanassa and dukkha is included. And upekkha is just neutral feeling, just upekkha is just upekkha, right? Okay, so actually the 5 types of feeling and the 3 types of feeling, they are just same, but just that the classification is different. This 2 is included as one group, this 2 is one group, and this alone in one group. Yeah. Until here, we're okay? Yeah. Okay. All right. So how about when we see sometimes the Buddha said, monks, there are only 2 feelings, 2 types of Vedanas only. Then what about that? So in that case, upekkha is included in the sukha as well. So in that case, there's only sukha and dukkha. Then when we have to see that only 2 types of Vedana, we need to understand that this becomes one group and this becomes another group. Because always remember that in the sutta, the Buddha is talking to different individuals, right? So depending on the tendency of that person or the understanding of that person, the Buddha talked to him in that way. So when he said 2 types of Vedanas, then his audience at that time, maybe his audience, his understanding would be like upekkha, because feeling neutral is not painful. So it can be considered as good as well. Neutral is also good. So this person, if he thinks that way, then the Buddha explained accordingly with sukha, including these 3 feelings, and dukkha, these 2. Yeah. Yes, Claudia?
But this upekkha is not the same upekkha as the jhana factor. It's 2 different things, correct?
Exactly. As in chapter 2, we saw that upekkha, when it is associated, when it is a jhana factor, then actually that cetasika is not Vedana, is tatra majatata. Remember? The middleness. That's another cetasika.
Yes, I remember that one. Thank you.
Okay, so here we are talking about Vedana. So this Upekkha Vedana is just purely a mental feeling, how the mind experience the object with a neutral mental feeling. Okay, so in this case, 2 types of Vedana, meaning Sukha and Dukkha, but including these 3 and these 2. Okay, now at last, how about when there is 1 type of Vedana? Then when the Buddha said all conditioned phenomena are dukkha, in this case, he means like everything, all conditioned things are unsatisfactory. That's dukkha. So that's when we have only 1 type of Vedana at the end. Now, there are different levels of understanding of dukkha. First, or very obvious, we have jati, birth, jara, old age, vyadi, sickness, death, marana, birth, old age, sickness, and death. That these are dukkha, unsatisfactoriness or suffering. We all understand that. Then we have also another level, association with the unbeloved, separation from the loved, and not getting what is wanted is also dukkha. It's also unsatisfactoriness. And now, further, in a deeper understanding, in the Dhammapada, verse 278, we see the Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara dukkhati. All conditioned things are unsatisfactory. So here, what is defined? What is the definition of dukkha? So whatever is constantly oppressed by arising and disappearing is dukkha. So anything that is constantly arising and disappearing is considered, is the definition of dukkha. So what arises and passes away all the time? Citta and Cittasika, right? Mind and the body as well. So mind and matter, nama and rupa, arise and passes, arise and passes, arise, passes all the time, all the time, all the time, without peace, without rest, right? So all these are conditioned things, and all conditioned things arises and passes away. So therefore, when the Buddha said this, Sabbe sankhara dukkhati, then he is saying, the Buddha himself, he said, this saying of mine was uttered with reference to the impermanence of conditioned things, right? So since everything is conditioned, everything is impermanent, then there cannot be happiness, cannot be sukha, right? So it is dukkha. Now the verse continue, yada panyaya passati ata nibindati dukke esa mago visuddhiya, meaning when one sees this with wisdom, one becomes wary of the aggregates. Then this is the path to the purification. When we see and understand that all conditioned things are dukkha, are unsatisfactory, when we see it truly with wisdom, then one get tired of this aggregate. Then we do not have this attachment or wrong idea of this aggregate anymore. Then because of that, then this is going towards the path of the purification without non-attachment, of the cessation of all the defilements, right? Okay, so this is just a little bit more of information about Vedana. So coming back to Vedana, then we understand now that there are 5 types in Abhidhamma, because Abhidhamma is explanation in details, right? So it is like even separated, like the mind, purely mind, or the mind through the body touch. So therefore, there are these 5 types of Vedana. But sometimes you may also find in some suttas, there are even more and more and more and more and more types of Vedanas. Why is that so? Because it could be pleasant mental feeling due to the related to sight, pleasant mental feeling related to sound, pleasant mental feeling related to smell, pleasant mental feeling related to taste, pleasant mental feeling related to touch, like that, all that. So it is further divided. So sometimes in suttas, you can find more and more types of Vedanas. That is also possible. But we understand that basic are these 5. Or sometimes in suttas, 3, 2, or 1. Okay, until here, everyone good? Okay. All right, so since this is an analysis of all cittas by way of Vedanā, now we have to look at which type of cittas associate with which kind of Vedanā. Okay, now, great-rooted consciousness, Lobha Mula Citta, what does it associate with? Do you still remember? Sukha?
Somanasa and Upekkha.
Right. Somanasa and Upekkha, right? We have 4 associated with Somanasa and 4 with Upekkha. So it does not associate with Sukha, Dukkha, or Domanasa, yeah? Right. Then how about Dosa Mula Citta?
Domanasa.
Domanasa.
Purely Domanasa, no? 2 of them cannot associate with any other mental feeling. How about Moha Mula Citta?
Upekkha.
Upekkha, yeah? So when it is delusion, the mind doesn't know much, no? So it's not being happy about the thing or being unhappy about the thing. So it's associated with a neutral mental feeling, okay? All right. Then how about the Dvipancha Vijnana? What do you think? The 5 sense consciousness.
Upekkha.
Right. So because it is a resultant consciousness, the mind is actually just let's say eye consciousness is only getting in touch with the visible object, only that. It's not liking it or not liking it, and it's not the reaction. It's just a resultant consciousness. So it arises always with a neutral mental feeling. Then later on, whether we like it or not, then it becomes Dosa Mula Citta or Lobha Mula Citta when it comes to the Jhana stages, right? Okay, so how about body consciousness? What can it associate?
One Sukha and one Dukkha.
Exactly, 1 Dukkha and 1 Sukha. When it is Sukha, that is a wholesome resultant, Kusala Vipaka. When it is Dukkha, it's unwholesome resultant, so Akusala Vipaka, no? Okay, how about receiving consciousness?
Upekkha.
Upekkha, yes. So only Upekkha. And then we have 3 investigating consciousness, Santirana. What about that?
Somanasa, Domanasa, and Upekkha.
Oh, no, sorry.
One.
Somanasa and Upekkha. 2 Upekkha, 1 Somanasa.
Yes. Right. So remember, investigating consciousness, Santirana, it associates actually the Akusala Vipaka and the Kusala Vipaka, both they associate with Upekkha, neutral mental feeling. But for the Kusala Vipaka, that time when the object is a specially desirable object, a specially agreeable object, then it can associate with Somanasa. Remember? So only when it is wholesome resultant, then there are 2 Santirana, 2 investigating consciousness. For unwholesome, there's only 1. Yeah, so 2 Upekkha and 1 Somanasa here. But don't worry if you don't remember all of them. This is just like an exercise and for us to get more familiar with the consciousness and what it is associated with. So don't worry, you don't have to remember the table, okay? All right, how about the 5 sense door averting consciousness? Upekkha, no? Panchadoha Rojana. This is just a function. Also, it's just very neutral. It does the function only. How about mind door averting?
Upekkha.
Upekkha as well. How about smile producing consciousness for the Arhats?
Somanasa.
Yes, very, very good, very good. Yeah, since it is smiling, it must be like pleasant mental feeling, no? So it associated with smile producing consciousness. Okay. Well, I know we haven't done the revision of these other types of cittas yet. So maybe some of you don't remember, and it's okay. No worries, because we are wanting to have some new information from chapter 3 while we are doing the revision of chapter 1 and 2 too. So don't worry if you don't remember all of them. We will go through them also in the revision later on. Okay, so let's continue with the other types of cittas and see. How about the kusala ones? Mahakusala, the kusala cittas, the 8 of them, what do they associate with?
Somanasa and Upekkha. 4 Somanasa, 4 Upekkha.
Yes, okay, yes, exactly, very good. How about Mahavipaka? So the resultant of these kusala cittas?
Same, I think.
Yes, because they are identical, right? The result of them, because these Mahavipaka Cittas are the result of Kusala Cittas with roots. Remember? We remember that Kusala Cittas, wholesome consciousness, when we plant good seeds, it gives two kinds of result: rootless result as well as result with roots. Yes, so these are the ones that are with roots. So they are the same, they are identical with the Kusala Citta themselves. So for Somanassa and Upekkha. Then how about Mahakriya? That's when the Arahats, they do good deeds. They are functional consciousness that they do not create karma anymore.
Same 4 and 4.
Same, Somanassa and Upekkha, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Then how about then Rupavachara Kusala Citta? When a person meditates and attains jhana, what kind of feeling do you think they associate with?
Somanassa and Upekkha as well.
Right. Somanassa.
Four Somanassa, 1 Upekkha. Yeah.
Yes. So for Somanassa, remember it is like the first, second, third, and fourth jhana.
Fourth jhana.
Associate with the jhana factor. Piti, Sukha, right? Piti, Sukha, Ekagata, but Piti and Sukha is also there, no? So Somanassa 4. And how about the fifth jhana associate with? Upekkha, yeah. So therefore 4 and 1. Then obviously the Vipaka, as they are identical, then it's the same. Then functional, when an Arahat meditates, is also the same, right? So these ones are identical. Okay, now how about Arupavachara Cittas? Here it includes Arupavachara, Jhana, Vipaka, and Kriya also.
Upekkha.
Only, right? Yeah, so 12 of them. 4 levels, 4 different objects for Arupavachara Jhana, first, second, third, and fourth. All of them associate with Upekkha mental feeling, no? So 4 Jhana, Cittas, and 4 resultant, and 4 functional. So 12, yeah. So 12 of them, all of them associate with Upekkha. Okay, then how about path consciousness? Now here we are talking about a detailed way. So 121 Cittas, not 89. So think about the jhanas also.
Okay, then it's 4 and 1. Somanassa, Upekkha.
That would be
Somanassa and Upekkha, 4 and
1. Yes.
Somanassa and Upekkha, but how many?
More, yeah. Amar is making calculation, right? Yes. So it is actually both of you are right. It's Somanassa and Upekkha. So it will be 16 and 4.
16 and 4. Right?
Yeah. So why is that so? Because first stage of enlightenment 4 and 1, like Edith said, right? First stage, Sotapatti Magga 4 and 1. Then Sakadagami Magga, the second stage of enlightenment, the once returner, then 4 and 1. So here, actually, 4 stage of enlightenment, 4 Cittas with 4 jhanas. So 4 times 4, 16, right? And then 4, first stage, second stage, third stage, and fourth stage with the fifth jhana. So 4 here. Yeah. So if Magga is like that, then Phala same, no? Then we understand it's also in the same way. All right. So now with this table you can find in the Abhidhamma Sanghaha book, the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. And so you will see then these tables, sometimes they are quite handy when sometimes we forget like what kind of feelings it associates with. Then at a glance we can just look at it and find out very easily. So these tables are helpful. So this is one section of chapter 3 actually that we have just completed. Until here, everyone okay? Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's take a break. 5 minutes, and then we come back to continue with some other revision. What about that?